What's happening, guys? I'm TechSource. Welcome to Setup Wars episode 181, the show where we look at some awesome setups from the internets. If you guys want to participate, make sure to watch the video linked down below. We have an awesome show for you guys today. Make sure your Cheerios or cereal is topped off. Buckle up and let the Setup Wars begin. In my opinion, a gaming setup is not complete without a smartphone, because if you're away from your setup, then you're probably gaming on your smartphone, right? But what if you're gaming on the new iPhone 11 Pro or the Samsung Galaxy Fold? And that's why I teamed up with Lords Mobile to give you guys the opportunity to win one of these smartphones and also introduce their awesome game, Lords Mobile, which is currently ranked in top SLG games. Lords Mobile is an online strategy game where everyone creates massive kingdoms and armies and teams up with hundreds of friends to fight for the throne. It's a perfect game to kill time, and it's really easy to play with amazing graphics and fluid gameplay. My favorite part of the game is the hero stage, where you can select up to 5 heroes that you own and go up against bosses for better gear and loot. There's always a ton of things to do in the game, and the best part is that it's free to play. So if you guys want to enter for a chance to win the Samsung Galaxy Fold 5G smartphone or the iPhone 11 Pro, then make sure to download the game using the link down below. You're not only helping support the channel, but you also get a Lords Mobile gift pack valued at $350 to get you started with the game. Kicking off the episode is Adam and his new setup at his new place. A lot of you guys probably remember him from episode 146, where he showed off his original dual monitor setup. But since then, he did move and he had to completely redo everything. And I gotta say, I'm really liking this new upgraded version a lot better. Looks like he replaced his 2 displays with 4 Asus 24-inch monitors that he hooked up against the wall. He did keep a similar design coming from his last setup as well, with the wall shelves and the nanoleafs. However, he did swap the 5-piece mural with a 3-piece featuring Zelda and 2 LED Guardian swords, which were handmade off Etsy. He also added additional nanoleaf panels underneath the shelves, totaling 4 separate nanoleaf panel connections. The desk has also been switched out. He decided to go with a corner desk setup using 1 long piece of Linman tabletop and a smaller piece for the corner to hold his PC and consoles. That's actually a really great combo that gives the setup lots of surface area to work with and storage without spending a ton of money. Well done. For peripherals, he's using a custom-made keyboard from WASD to match the Zelda color scheme he's going with, and the Asus ROG Spatha gaming mouse, which personally I'm not a huge fan of. For audio, he's still using the same headsets as before, which are hanging from the wall shelves. We've got a total of 4 Astro A50s, 2 for the PS4 and 2 for the Xbox, because why not? Excellent job routing the cables underneath the desk. Everything seems to be beautifully routed and organized with the help of a couple signums and a bunch of cable clips. The biggest upgrade, I would say, is that the setup is no longer powered by a laptop. Adam finally built a custom PC featuring the i5-8600K, 16 gigs of RAM, and the RTX 2060 from Asus. I'm officially welcoming you to the PC Master Race. I really do love the design and personality that was added to this setup. You took an already awesome setup and you made it that much better. This setup definitely meets all 5 criteria for the seal of approval, which is organization, personality, purpose, cable management, and the most important one, uniqueness. Adam, congratulations on receiving the 17th seal of approval from Setup Wars. This setup is nothing short of spectacular. I absolutely love the upgrades and modifications you have done coming from your previous setup. The attention to detail, the execution, I mean, everything is just perfecto, my friend. If you're watching this video, toss an email to setupwars@gmail.com to claim your plaque. Also, side note, why didn't you include a picture of that wall of weapons on the left side? I would have loved to see what kind of heat you're packing, so send me a picture of that with the email if you can, please. Next up is Dinos from Athens, Greece, which is on my buckets list. Dinos also happens to be a mod on my Discord server, and yes, mods do get bumped up to the top of the queue for Setup Wars in case you haven't noticed yet. So Dinos is using 2 24-inch Dell monitors and a 20-inch in vertical mode for coding and monitoring my Discord. He's also using the Razer Black Widow Chroma V2 keyboard and the Naga Chroma mouse with an extended mouse pad. He did keep the surface of the desk fairly clean with minor stuff like his Xbox controller, mug, and a fake plant from IKEA. I mean, Dinos did his best to fit all 3 monitors and his PC on the desk without making it seem too cramped. After all, his room doesn't give him much space to work with. For audio, he's got the Logitech G933 Artemis headphones hanging underneath the desk and a BM800 microphone mounted in the back. The PC powering the setup is built inside the new Corsair 220T case, and it's packing the 7700 non-K version and the GTX 1060. I am curious why you went with an AIO for a non-K CPU. It just seems like a waste of money if you're not going to be overclocking anyways. I don't know how important that shelf is next to you, but if you really wanted more space to work with in the future, you can always reposition that shelf and get a corner table like Adam did if you want a dedicated place to store your PC and free up extra space on your desk. But from the looks of things, you seem to be doing fine for now. Thank you, Dinos, for entering. Here's a pretty cool dual setup by Frank from the Netherlands. Now, Frank is actually in the Royal Dutch Armed Forces, and he's been active since 2001 until today. And he's toured places like Bonzi, Afghanistan, and Lithuania, I think that's how you say it. And this is the setup that he uses for gaming and homework. So a little backstory about how he built his custom setup. Before 2010, he had never seen a PC from the inside, and he built this setup after watching all the episodes of Setup Wars during his tour in Lithuania. The fact that you can build something like this from watching my boring setup videos is talent in itself. Mad respect, Frank, mad respect. So anyways, he built the setup in his garage for himself and his 3 kids. They can all do their homework here and play Fortnite together, 2 of them on the PC and the 3rd one using the PS4. Both setups are pretty similar, except the second setup has a 34-inch ultrawide, while the first one has a 27-inch, and both of them are mounted against the custom backboard that he made. I love the dedication to cable management. Looks like he drilled holes for the keyboard, mice, speakers. I mean, pretty much everything is routed perfectly underneath the desk, and he even managed to mount the subs under there as well. Such a clean job. I couldn't be more proud. The PC on the left has an i7-8700 only with no dedicated GPU, but Frank is planning on saving up for a small RTX 2060 to fit the small Fractal Node 202 case. He also modded a clear window to show the MOBO and GPU and made a travel case for the PC. That way he can store it in his backpack while he rides his motorcycle to work. The other PC has a 7700K and a Strix GTX 1070, which he sometimes uses with his racing setup that he custom made as well. Check this thing out, guys. It's got wheels underneath here for mobility. That is genius. This entire project took Frank a period of 2 years from start to finish, and he built all of this underneath a tight budget. A lot of the things were bought used, and the rest of the things like flooring, painting, and isolation were from discount. He managed to transform his garage to an awesome gaming room and a place to relax with the kids. Excellent work, Frank, and even though you're not from the US, I want to thank you for your service and thank you for entering Setup Wars. I want to do you a favor and buy you that RTX 2060, so if you're watching this video, toss me an email at setupwars@gmail.com. Thanks again. And number 4 is Gavin, who was featured in episode 119, but since then he has gone his own place and decided to revamp his setup, referencing my cable management guide, which I'll link below if you guys want to check that out as well. He's upgraded to an ultra-wide monitor while keeping most of his gear the same. He's still using the super clean Philco Magis Touch keyboard with custom keycaps and the Logitech G603 mouse. Now the desk is actually upgraded. He went from a Malm desk to the beautiful Hallestad countertop and a couple of Alex drawers for support. He also added some nanoleaf panels to spice it up, and interestingly enough, he switched his water-cooled PC to air-cooled since he now has a newborn and doesn't have time to maintain it, which I completely understand. It's got a slight upgrade as well from a GTX 1080 to a 1080 Ti FTW3 from EVGA. Overall, you made some really nice improvements from your older setup, and you still managed to keep everything so damn pristine. Congratulations on your newborn, and thank you, Gavin, for entering. Last but not least, we have Mo from Dubai and his sick wall-mounted setup. Literally everything is pretty much mounted against the wall, even both of the PCs. Now, I'll be the first to say that it's lacking some sort of organization or symmetry, if you will, but it's still pretty badass nonetheless. Now, the first setup is actually built for his guests. It's got a 38-inch ultra-wide monitor from LG and the Razer keyboard, mouse, speaker, and even the headset, all in Mercury white. Hell, I wouldn't mind being a guest at Mo's house, that's for sure. They even get to use a dope gaming PC with a 6700K and a GTX 1070. Now, Mo's PC, on the other hand, is more of a beast, obviously. It's got the 7700K with the RTX 2080, which is also built inside another P5 case. He's also using a much wider 49-inch monitor with a 27-inch up top as an overhead. I do like those wall-mounted shelves that he used to keep the consoles. That's actually a pretty cool way to keep the consoles and games off the desk if you need a place to mount them. The wall shelf with the built-in recessed lights is also pretty cool that he used to keep all of his Funko Pops and collectibles. Now, if this was my setup, I would have separated the guest setup with my own, mainly because if I were to invite someone over to play multiplayer with, or maybe one-on-one, then I wouldn't want my monitor that close to theirs. Otherwise, we can both be cheating. Also, it's kind of distracting if there's another massive monitor next to mine. Personally, I would have put the TV in the center to separate both setups, but then again, that's what I would have done. I can see that Mo did his best to try and cable manage. I mean, this is a pretty intense setup, so there's going to be a bunch of cables. So I'm not going to give him that much crap since he did his best. But for the cables behind the monitors and the TV, you could have at least used some Velcro straps to tie them together. It's an impressive setup with lots of personality, but it definitely needs some tweaking. Thank you, Mo, for entering. And that's it for this episode of Setup Wars. As always, make sure you guys vote in the comment section down below on who you think has the best desk setup. And if you guys want to see some pretty cool sneak peeks on the upcoming projects, make sure to follow me on my Instagram account. I love your beautiful, beautiful. I can't think of anything. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. All right.